Aloha and welcome to this very Maui edition of What's Cooking with Beth. I've done this one before, but I felt like I needed to do a redo of Hawaiian banana bread. And I've actually changed up the recipe a little bit. Typically I'm making it with coconut oil, and I'm actually going to make it with butter today. This is how warm it kind of is just at room temperature right now. So this I set out yesterday morning just to get soft. This is naturally how the butter melted down for me at room temperature. So I'm ready to go. This particular recipe called for a half a cup of butter, 1 banana in this entire recipe. I doubled it. I'm like, any recipe for banana bread that's calling for 1 banana is just not gonna be enough. And if it only has 1 stick of butter, it's not gonna be enough for me. So we're doubling the recipe. We're starting with 2 sticks of butter, and I'm gonna add 2 cups of organic raw sugar. I've said it before, this is the kind of raw sugar they used to grow in Maui. The sugarcane industry is gone, but I was still able to find this at Costco. So, little story about me. I like to bring a lot of fun stuff when I travel. So, my suitcase can tend to be a little overweight and heavy. Luckily, I had a lot of baking things at my friend's house already from my last visit, and I didn't even remember or realize it, but it was funny because she texted me to remind me that I had a bag of toiletries, and she specifically listed out the pantry items that I had here: sugar, flour, chocolate chips, nuts. I mean, it was a lot, and I'm like, oh my word, it sounds like I've moved in already. But I was just at Costco and I couldn't stand not to buy this organic sugar in the raw. It's a 6-pound bag. I mean, I could leave it here or I could take it with me, which is what I really want to do. But again, we're overweight in my suitcase, so this is getting a little out of hand, but it is what it is. I mean, I only brought 1 suitcase this time, so I'm just gonna have to go buy a second one so I can pack all of my baked goods that I want to take back to the mainland with me. So I got 2 cups of raw sugar, 2 sticks of butter. I'm just gonna kind of get mixed together, and then I'm gonna put in 4 eggs. So this is not just a regular Hawaiian bread or a banana bread. It's a Hawaiian banana bread made by request. So we were greeted with this beautiful bowl of local fruits when we got here. So we have dragon fruit, papaya, some star fruit. There's some fresh guavas in here, tangerines, and my favorite little apple bananas. They're just so full of flavor. This is from Ono Organic. So these got delivered for us as a little care package. I was very blessed by that. But now I have a lot of these bananas that I'm ready to bake with. We also got a pineapple. So I have a friend traveling with me this time that's never been to Hawaii, and she would like to have Hawaiian banana bread. And I figure, what better place to make Hawaiian banana bread than Hawaii? So here we are. We're gonna get it together, whip these eggs in with the sugar and the butter. This particular recipe does not call for vanilla extract, but I like it. So I always like to add a little bit of extra flavor with the vanilla extract. If you have like a coconut extract or a macadamia extract, those would also be delicious in the bread just to give it a little bit of extra flavor. But one thing that we're going to be doing with this is adding fresh chopped pineapple and shaved coconut. So in the total for this, we're going to have bananas, pineapple, and coconut. And of course, I had to go hyper local. I couldn't find the whole pineapples. I typically like to cut my own, but I had to get the Maui Gold. So since I couldn't find the whole Maui Gold, I went ahead and just bought the pre-chopped up kind for myself. But I'm telling you, the Maui Gold pineapple versus any other kind of pineapple is totally different. So I'm gonna go ahead, it says 2 cups of the pineapple chopped. Got a lot of juice going in. It did not want me to drain the juice, which is also different from what I typically do. So I'm gonna have 2 full cups of the Maui pineapple, the Maui gold, and I'm just gonna rough chop it. If I had my food processor here, which I have been known to travel with, but since I was traveling with check bags this time instead of driving, I did not bring the food processor. I'm just gonna hand chop it instead of food processing, but I am someone who travels with a lot of cooking tools because I like to cook wherever I am. So that's why we call this What's Cooking with Beth. We don't know where I am, what I'm doing, but I could be anywhere cooking basically anything. Today I just so happen to be in Maui making Hawaiian banana bread with a Maui gold pineapple and some local apple bananas, which I am crazy excited about. So I get this pineapple rough chopped. Like I said, we're not gonna drain the juice this time. Typically, on the other one, I will do like a crushed pineapple and I put it through a strainer and kind of push the juice out because I don't want my batter to be so loose. But this particular one wants the juice, so it's probably just subbing for some other wet ingredient that there's less of in this particular recipe. So that is fine. So get this all chopped up. And like I said, this recipe called for 1 banana, which is foolish. I think that they're probably thinking it's like a large banana anyways, and I would say the ratio of these apple bananas to 1 regular banana would be 2 to 1. So even though their recipe called for 1 banana, naturally I would use 2 just because these are tiny. But in addition to that, I'm doubling the recipe, so that's already gonna bring me up to 4. And then just because I want to, I'm throwing in a 5th one. So I'm gonna crush up 5 little apple bananas, and they're just gonna add so much flavor. If you've never had bananas from actual Hawaii or just fresh off of a tree instead of purchased at the grocery, I'm telling you, the flavor is unmatched. So delicious. So I'm gonna get these bananas all peeled. I do like to just crush them with my hand, so I'm gonna peel them in advance so I get my hands dirty after this. See how tiny they are? They're just little bananas. They're little tangs full of flavor. They're so cute. So here we go. There's 3, and then I'm gonna do 2 more. Get these going. Okay. Then I'm gonna crush them with my hands. So we did the road to Hana on Saturday. We arrived on island on a Friday and then turned right around and got on the road to Hana the very next day. So typically when I go on the road to Hana, I like to bake the night before. I'll make banana bread, cookies, whatever the crowd suggests. We'll take sandwiches. But honestly, there's been so many vendors set up in Hana these days that it's almost worth just maybe taking some water and purchasing the different food options that they have there. Including now, Auntie Sandy's Bakery sells a phenomenal banana bread. And I like to bake and I like to make my own stuff. However, I'm just really thankful for Auntie Sandy's because now the pressure's off of me. So if I don't have a chance to bake before I get to go on the road, Auntie Sandy's got me covered. And the beautiful thing about Auntie Sandy is that she sells banana breads and smoothies at the stop where I used to have my own smoothies ready to go. So we can still have my little stop with the smoothies and the banana bread, which is in the Kenai Peninsula. Watch the waves, kind of walk around, take pictures, and enjoy our little snack, which is about a halfway to Hana stop. So you've already been in the car for a while, you've maybe done a hike or 2, then you get to stop and kind of enjoy the scene in Kenai Peninsula, get your banana bread, get a smoothie, take a break, get out of the car. And now Auntie Sandy's got me covered on that. So We put 5 bananas, we put 2 cups of crushed pineapple, and I'm gonna put 4 cups of flour. This is the cup measure. I need to get the flour out of the freezer. So, this might not be an attractive thing for us to talk about, but the reality is, when you live in Hawaii or probably any other tropical environment, flour, pasta, any kind of boxed food, especially that's flour based, can get little cuckoos, like little bugs, tiny little, like almost beetle-like looking, small, but they look like little hard shell bugs. So to avoid that, in my opinion, I mean, I haven't really researched this, I don't think that the bugs are necessarily natural to this environment and they just get in there. I think that probably all of our products like this have the eggs just from being produced, but in Hawaii we just have the environment where they can actually hatch and live. So it's better to store these type of items in your freezer if you're going to have them for any amount of time at all. So if you're not going through your flour in the first probably week or two, go ahead and just store it in the freezer. I always like to get my flour like a nice flash freeze anyway, so I could feel like I was killing anything that might be kind of sitting in there in the egg form that we can't see. Even if I did store it in the pantry later, I like to kind of freeze it first. But if you have room to store things like this in your freezer, that's the best way to do it, so you know it's going to be fresh whenever you're ready to use it. So I have the King Arthur flour going that I bought last time I was here, and my friend saved it for me in the freezer, so that was nice. And then we're going to do a few teaspoons of our rising agent, which is going to be 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and then we'll do 1 full teaspoon of baking soda. So 2 powder, 1 soda, and then we'll do a little ½ teaspoon of salt. I did use salted butter because I like that extra salt flavor. It just really enhances whatever it is that you're doing. So there's the 2 of the powder, and 1 of the soda, and then we'll have a ½ teaspoon of salt and call it a day. Then the last ingredient I have to mix in is my shaved coconut. So get all this rolling. Salt. Come with me now, salt. Okay. So I'm going to kind of blend these dry ingredients together before I mix it in with everything else. Get them kind of nice and combined. And I'm just going to roll it in together. So here we go. Get this out of my way. Do a ½ cup of coconut, and then we're going to be all set. My spoon. Okay. So the Hawaiian banana bread, the apple bananas, the Maui pineapples. Sadly and embarrassingly, I'm using this pre-bought shaved coconut. It's not fresh, but hey, it's the one thing that I just had to do for convenience sake. So I'm gonna pop that in here, ½ cup of it. Then we're gonna make it in these little pans that we can dispose of and give away. So I made a double batch so we can have some for ourselves and then have enough to share with our friends. So that is the point. And that's what we're gonna do. This is pretty thick. It's a thick dough. It's not as loose as the other one that I typically make with the oil, but I really like this. This really does look more like a bread dough and not a cake batter, so it should be very delicious. And I am excited to eat it with these fresh local ingredients. So ½ cup of my coconuts, then I'm ready to roll. I'll pop it in the oven. Typically I'll have the oven preheating while I'm baking or while I'm mixing up my ingredients. It's so hot in the house, I'm trying to avoid that as long as possible. So I'll pop the oven on now, and then as soon as these come out of the oven, we're out of here. We're gonna go to the beach, relax, get cooled off. And if I would have thought about this ahead, I probably would have toasted that coconut instead of just putting it in here raw like this, but it's gonna be delicious either way. So we got the shave, sweetened coconut in our batter now. And then I'm just gonna divide it out into these pans. These are a 8 by 3. Yeah, I guess that's right. 8 by 3 inch pan, and there's 3 of them. No, there's multiple. Or it says a 3-pack, but oh, there's 6. So I'll probably divide this batter by 4 of these pans. So we'll have a loaf to eat and 3 to share. So that's it. The batter is here. Combine this coconut a little bit more. Show you guys what it's looking like. So that's it. That's our Hawaiian banana bread batter. Big chunks of yummy Maui gold pineapple. And we're going to enjoy it and share it, and wishing you a lot of aloha.